All right, so welcome to the Forest Coffee Break. Just to have that on record, this is the episode 15, and just before starting recording, Mark was about to ask us something about design automation. So here you go, Mark.
Yep. So with the project that we're working on, I'm sending a zip file with a bunch of JSON files in it. I'm wondering, what's the best way of handling, the unzipping of that file. Do I do it in memory with the plugin, or do I unzip the files at the Forge? And I know there's in the work item, in the files, there's a zip, how the zip file is handled.
Yes. So yeah, design automation handles that for you. So
Yeah.
let me quickly open the documentation here. And if you go to activity and go to how you define an activity, and you go to parameters, and there is a zip, which is a
Okay.
boolean, right?
Yep.
So the way it works is that if you specify that this specific parameter is a zip, then automation will unzip that on a folder with the same name of the zip file.
Okay.
So I would say that that's the best way, because
Okay.
you don't have to handle that on your code. We handle that for you.
Okay.
It's debugged, tested, etc. So you can just use it, and that works for inputs and outputs. So if you create a folder with a lot of files inside that folder, and
Right.
that's an output, Design Automation will zip that for you and send back to the destination. It works for both input and output.
Okay. And there's, I don't know, maybe I'm confused about, I was looking at something else, and there was something about how the zip file is actually handled, but I guess this answers my question anyways. So we're all good. So when it would unzip, like it would upload the file, it would unzip the file and recreate the directory structure that was in it.
Yeah, so the only thing we do is we create a folder with the same name of the zip,
Okay.
and then unzip to that folder, right? So if you have files and folders and subfiles, etc., that will be replicated inside that folder.
Okay, so if I submit a file that's called like data.zip, that top level folder is going to be data, and then my directory structure is going to be replicated
Yes,
underneath that.
yes and no. The only thing to
Okay.
remember is that the name of the zip is not the original name of the zip, but the name that you pass here on the
Yes.
local name.
Yeah, that's right.
Because regardless, let's say you have on a different storage, you have something.zip, but here on the local name is data.zip. The folder will be data. The folder will be named data, right? Only
Okay.
data.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Well, I'll have a go at trying that.
Yeah, that
Anything?
works
Yeah.
really well. It's actually the best way to submit multiple files.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you don't have to worry about a variable number of inputs and outputs.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks.
Great. Sure, my pleasure. Hi,
Hi,
Viet.
Augusto.
Hi.
Yeah,
Good
long time
afternoon, I
no see.
guess, or good morning. I know you are from UK, right?
Yeah, afternoon here.
Afternoon.
Yeah, thank you
Early
for
morning my
sending out
time.
the. Sorry, I was saying thank you for sending out the new calendar invite that will help people join.
Yes.
I keep trying to remember to join, but without the invite, it's hard. We forgot things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll try to send a reminder
Yeah.
like 30 minutes before, so we remember. I know there is a way to add that to the calendar. So if you go to that email, there is a
Yeah.
download calendar thing. But I'll just send a
Mhm.
reminder anyway. It's not hard to do. I can do it like very fast. So easy.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
suggestion last time. Thank you.
And also, could I have a follow-up question to this one?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course. Go ahead.
because I read somewhere that design automation can work with Etransmit package. So does that mean once it unzips the transmit package, the main model will see the Revit links as well?
Um,
I
I
mean,
don't
when you
know
open the
if
main one?
Yeah, I don't know how it will work with how AutoCAD works with Etransmit files.
Yeah.
As I remember, it creates a zip for you. So the zip is actually the output. So the difference between a parameter as a zip is that we zip and unzip that for you, right?
Yeah.
But if your process creates the zip for you, right? So you don't have to use this zip as a parameter type of zip file, right? Because we're not zipping and unzipping that for you.
Yeah. So I might have to try it out to see.
Yeah. So as I remember, the Etransmit will create a zip with all the dependent files. So you just have to send that zip to the destination. You don't have to worry about zipping them using Zen Automation. AutoCAD will do that for you.
So does it mean when Forge open the zip, it will see the main file and then open that one, and then that main file will see the other ones as well?
So Design Automation does not understand what's inside the zip file. It will Design Automation will just when you start your process, your work item, it will grab the input zip file, unzip that, and place that on the folder, right? But we don't know what's inside. If the main file is always the same name and you have control over that, you can tell the in this case Revit console to open that file inside the zip because you know the file name, right?
Yeah.
But if the zip is something that is very random and you don't know what's inside, you probably have to, let's say Revit, right? You have to start Revit using your code, go to that folder, check what's inside, and decide what to open.
Yeah.
Using the open document method, or the equivalent for AutoCAD, you have to start the AutoCAD engine, look into the folder, and then call open on the file that you want. Right? So with unless you always know what's inside the zip, if you don't know, you have to run through the folder and decide what to do.
I see. Yeah, I'll try it. And also something different. I have developed this Forge app where people can upload Revit families and then they get cleaned up and then download it back to the model. So it works very well with one family, but now my team wants to do it for 5,000 families. Do you see any future problems with doing this?
Well, you probably have to run that one family per work item, because the work item is completely independent from each other. So if you have 5,000 work items, they are completely independent. Right?
Yeah.
The only thing that you have to consider is the rate limit. So if you go to developer guide and then go to rate limit and quotas, go to design automation rate limits, you see there is a limit on how many times you can call design automation per minute.
Oh, yeah.
But you cannot run 5,000 at the same time. You have to run in chunks, and you have to think about how many you're going to run. And every time you get the 429 response, it means that you are exceeding your quota. So you just have to wait and retry after some minutes. And it's 1,000 calls. Sorry, 100 calls per minute.
Yeah. So when I say 429, I should wait for a minute and then retry.
Yeah, well, that's the easiest way. Wait a minute, but the optimal way is to look at the retry after header on the response.
Yeah.
So that retry after will tell you have to wait, I don't know, 30 seconds before calling again. Right?
I see. Yeah, that's great. That's very good insight. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And if you are running 5,000 jobs or work items, right? It's also, I would also recommend that you have some sort of queuing system, so you know that all 5,000 completed. And let me open something else here. So this is a library to handle in. I assume that you are using .NET, but I mean, if not, you can find something similar. The idea of a queue like that is that you can send the 5,000 jobs to the queue, and tell the system to only run 50 at a time, right?
Yeah.
So the system will not try to do more than 50 at a time. And if one of those calls fail because of 429, the Hangfire will re-enqueue that and run that later. And the reason I'm saying that is if you're running 5,000 jobs, it may take hours to run, and the code may not handle that well. So a queuing is the best way to handle complicated or very long process that depend on on a lot of tiny jobs, right? So with something like this, you just send all 5,000 to the queue and tell the system run 50 at a time and retry if there's any problem.
Or 5,000, I think even message queues would be, RabbitMQ, etc. It would be sensible.
Yeah, it can. I've been playing with Hangfire for some time now.
I use it. It's good. Yeah.
Yes, and it works well. I think last week I was running something with 40,000 jobs on the queue. Those 40,000 jobs took almost 5 days to run. Was a very complicated thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hangfire went really well. So yeah, it works. If you're just using one-off, right? You don't have to worry about a database like to host your jobs. You can just do it in memory. But if this is something that will be recurrent, you have to run it, every day, every week, etc. You can use a database to store all the jobs. And in that case, it may be a bit slow because your database is far away or there's a latency there as well. But yeah, it works really well. That's what I'm using for complicated jobs like that, or long or multiple jobs like that.
Yeah, thank you. I will try and maybe update in the next meeting how
Sure.
it goes.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your questions. It's interesting to see people pushing the limits with the design automation and other Forge APIs.
Hopefully there's no limit.
Well, there is a rate limit, but yeah, I think the limit is mostly on the how many times you can do something, right? But the APIs are really powerful. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I love it.
It's very common to get 429s, and have always to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. Any other interesting projects, Mikhail? Bringing you to the spotlight.
Oh, the same old. So same old. I just went into a meeting with a competitor of yours, and but basically we are looking at a there is a very nice data structure called DexP. It's an ISO standard for piping and instrumentation diagrams. So it's a very big, let's say, integration task. But other than that, nothing really new. I hopped in here to see what's going on in general. So.
Interesting. Yeah, cool. Well, there are a few other things going on at Autodesk. If you look at our blog, there are a few new BIM 360 APIs. That's quite interesting. I think the one that is most interesting to me, at least, is the custom attributes. If you're using BIM 360, that's a very common request to define and read that kind of information in projects. So now we have the API to do it. And there is also the data connector API. But that's really if you're trying to extract information and create reports, etc. The custom attributes, it's interesting because it allows you to store additional information on your projects, which is always something that we have to do, right? We always have to store additional information as a way to track status, track what's happening, which goes beyond what's started on the document or by default. I'm wondering if you're using BIM 360 or using BIM 360 APIs.
Well, I only use the webhook API, nothing else yet.
The webhook from BIM 360 to when a user creates a new document?
Yes, when something is added to maybe a folder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Now, then with that, you trigger some additional processing, right? That's
Yeah.
that's what I imagine.
But
Yeah.
you know,
So
that actually reminds me of a problem, because I have this webhook on in a folder. So for me, it works fine whenever something added to there. I get the webhook only once, and I follow your advice about returning 200 straight away, so it won't fire again. But sometimes when another user does the same thing, then he gets two identical webhooks, and that triggers two identical work items. So I'm not sure if you have seen this before.
well, so the webhook for BIM 360,
Yeah.
it's one per user per app and per folder, right? So for one given folder, each user can create a webhook. So what I suspect is that on your application, the two users are creating webhooks for the same application, and therefore the application receives two webhooks, right? One for each user.
Yeah.
So I would say that you should block that folder from creating a new webhook for that folder if it's the same folder and you don't care which user is doing that. When you create the webhook, you can, before creating, you can say get webhooks, and that will get you the webhooks for that folder for other users as well. So you can you get just for that user. Yeah. So probably what you may need to do is if you have a queuing system, look at your queue and see if you already have a job running for that file.
Yeah.
Because I suspect that we're getting multiple webhooks because you have multiple users. They don't know about each other, and that will happen. So go to your queue and say, is there a job running for that file already? If so,
Yeah.
abort the second call.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's good to know, because I didn't know one user can only create one webhook on a folder. I did try to make a second one, and it says something about confliction. So
Yes.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But another user can.
Yeah. It's just one webhook per folder, per user, per application. But if you have a second user, it will be two webhooks for the same folder, and then your application will run twice the job, right?
Yeah, so I'll try that. If that fails, then I may try the hard way, which is to delete the folder and recreate it. That's another way.
Yeah, but if that happened once, it will happen again, right? You may have two users creating webhooks. So my suggestion would be to, whenever you get the callback, and use something like Hangfire to enqueue the job, you just go back on the queue and say, is there a job running for that folder? If so, ignore the second call, because to avoid duplicated jobs on the same folder and file, right? I suspect you run a work item for each file.
Yes.
So go to the queue. Is there a job running for already a job for that file? And ignore the second call.
How do you know which file a Hangfire item is running on? How do you know which one is running?
So on Hangfire specifically, right? When you enqueue a job, you have to pass a string saying run this function with those attributes, right?
Yeah.
One of the attributes will be the file ID, because you have to run that for a file. So you need to know the file or the version or something, right? So you go to the queue and say, give me all the enqueued jobs or running jobs, and you check all of them to see if any of those jobs have is running for the same file. So you have to use the Hangfire API to get all the enqueued or running jobs to check.
I see. Yeah. So I will look into the Hangfire API then.
Yes.
Yeah,
In that
lots
case,
to
will
do.
be specifically on the queuing system, right? To avoid duplicated calls.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll try it.
And yeah, good question. Thank you. Good discussion.
Yeah.
Any other thing from you guys? Any other projects that you are working with?
No, that's all for me.
Thank you. So,
Thanks for your help.
Yeah, sure. So the next coffee break in 2 weeks, February 24th. Actually, that coffee break will be aligned with the next accelerator we have, which is if you go to the Forge website and go to accelerator page, the next one is Walled Spiral, which is AC focused, right? So we're trying to get a lot of people running AC related or beam related projects. So that the next coffee break will be with that accelerator, and hopefully we have a lot of participants from the accelerator as well. So see you there, and it'll be a good chance for you to learn what's going on the accelerator, or if you want to join that one, you're always welcome to join. All right.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you too. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.